Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be back on the Golf. Just thought it makes sense to do that since the last video was on the Golf. So I'm hopefully going to get the parts it failed MOT on replaced. We'll have a look at the wipers as well. Hopefully it won't cost anything and they can just maybe be lubed up a little bit. I don't know. And we're going to send it to MOT and then we'll look at the water leak. Just want to get it road legal before we start, obviously because the water leak isn't going to affect MOT, so we'll do that after it's passed. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in today's video, guys. So a little bit of an update on the other cars as well while I'm here. The RS6 I do have the parts for. I actually picked them up from the dealer 2 days ago after them being on back order for ages, so that will be coming probably in the next video, trying to get that back on the road. The Golf GTI saga continues with fueling issues. I've had to order another part. Another standard part has failed. But there we go. At least replacing it means it won't need to be done again. And also, this is just what happens when you tune cars. It just exposes the next weak part. So yeah, Golf GTI saga continues. And the Boxster, although I'm driving around in it at the moment, it's because I have no other car. The Skoda obviously failed MOT, so I need to do that as well. So the Porsche is actually the only road legal car I have. But that is up for sale, guys. So if anyone is interested in the Boxster GTS, I'm after 40 grand for it. So if anyone's interested, let me know. So I think that's about up to date of where we're up to. So yeah, let's crack on with today's video. Very safe place to keep a key. I hope this starts. Yes. So after just jumping out, it seems that I'm probably going to have more than one leak for the car. Obviously, we've got the issue with the A-pillar there. Looks absolutely disgusting. Chances are that's either going to be the sunroof, common problem, possibly the windscreen, but more than likely a blocked thing for the sunroof. But also, this driver's footwell is also very wet. That is just completely damp. So it looks like we've got a couple of issues. The passenger footwell is dry, so we've got a leak both sides of the car. I'm hoping that when we are going to lift the bonnet up, I'm going to remove the scuttle panel. That may reveal some of the problems, because we could have a lot of rubbish there. We could have a leaking grommet. There's just grommets where the bonnet release cable goes as well, so it could be that. So there's one of two things, 3, 4 things it could be. But yeah, we're going to lift the bonnet up, get access to the wipers. I just want to jump in there, guys, to thank today's sponsor of the video, which is YFood. Now, YFood have been supporting my channel since pretty much the beginning for a good couple of years. And so I've been using their products for the last couple of years. And I can safely say it's probably one of the reasons why I don't weigh probably 1 or 2 stones more than I do. I use them pretty much every day, usually for lunch, but sometimes I do have breakfast or dinner if I've had a big lunch. I'll use them for dinner, or alternatively, if I know I'm going to have a busy day, I'll just quickly grab a drink in the morning and have it for breakfast. Now, YFood is a meal replacement drink, or it can be a powder. You can have protein bars. They are not to be confused with a diet drink. They contain 26 different vitamins and minerals, and as I mentioned, you can get them in a drink or you can get them in powder form like this. Now, the powder form, for example, contains enough for 17 mils. You also get a free shaker with it when you buy it as well, and that works out with my discount, which I'll tell you at the end, to less than £1.60 per mil, and they do keep you full for around 3 to 5 hours, and they are just all round healthy for you. The powder contains around 400 calories and the drinks around 500 calories, so they do keep you full. Now, if you're new to YFood and you haven't used them before, click the link in my description, go over to the website, use my discount code, which is Salvage10, for 10% off your first purchase, guys. You can either do a taster pack, or if you've used them before, you can build your own bundle. So a massive thanks to YFood for sponsoring today's video. I mean, I don't know how long this car's been sat for, but it's been sat for a while. It's just a bit of a mess. There's crap everywhere. It just looks minging. So I had it all up here as well, actually. So what I'm actually going to do first of all is I'm going to take it back outside, get a jet wash to it, and just completely blitz this engine bay, and yeah, just get as much of the crap off as I can, because I don't really want to be working in all that crap, if I'm honest. So that is the first thing we're going to do. Right, so there we go, all nice and clean. Looks a lot better around here. Just got all the rubbish off, all up here as well, it was minging. So now what I'm gonna do is remove this little cover here. There's a couple of 13mm nuts, as you can see that one's missing anyway. We'll remove the wipers, take off this little scuttle panel here, and we'll look at the wipers, see if the mechanism's working. It might have just, the splines might have just worn out, the wiper might be dead, but yeah, we'll have a look. Or it could be the wiper arms that have seized, because obviously there's movement, there's joints in there, so they could have seized up. So it might be a little bit of WD-40 might fix it. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll get that removed out and we'll have a look. Now, I forgot to say first, but the first thing you should really check is fuses. Now, wiper blades don't usually have fuses, purely because if it's raining, you really don't want a fuse to stop, to blow and the windscreen wipers not to work. So they don't usually have fuses, but I thought I'd check them anyway. Yep, it didn't have fuses. The next easiest thing to check was to make sure that the splines on here weren't worn, or that the wiper blade themselves weren't loose, because sometimes if them bolts come loose there, then the splines just rotate inside, and it could have easily been that. That would obviously saved you taking it all apart. So it wasn't those. So we've taken the panel off. As you can see, it is absolutely minging in there as well, so probably going to get a jet wash in there again. And then it was just 3 bolts to remove the linkage really easily. Now, the next thing I would check is power to the motor. Now, I don't actually have to do that on this occasion, because I've tried to obviously actuate the wiper blades while I was checking things, and in doing that, the motor is red hot. So that would indicate that the motor is working. So I cannot move the arms at all. They were pretty solid. So what I've done here is I've just removed the actual linkage from the wiper motor itself here. So I've just taken it off, which means now the wiper arms should move nice and freely like that. However, this one does not. It's completely seized. So that is probably going to be our issue. I'm hoping that the motor hasn't burnt out. I mean, it is very hot, but it must still work for it to get hot. So I'm hoping if we can just free this off, put some lubricant on it, get it moving nice and easily, and then hopefully the motor will be saved. So I'm just going to free this up now. I'll report back in a minute. So actually, I think this wiper motor is fairly new. It looks like it's been changed fairly recently, but the actual linkage itself is a genuine, probably original part. Now, I have just spent 10 minutes trying to free this up, and it is absolutely solid. I've tried WD-40, I've tried getting it out, but it's a kind of a sealed unit. You can't undo it to clean it out or anything like that, and it is still really stiff. So I've just gone on eBay, I found a wiper linkage and motor, fully working condition, for 20 quid. So yeah, I've just done that. So that is going to stay off. We may swap the motor over, or depends on what the new one's like. But yeah, we'll probably keep that motor. So yeah, that'll be here probably Monday or Tuesday. So we're going to leave that now. So we're going to get the Golf onto the ramp and start looking at the wishbones and the brake pipes. Right, so one of the MOT failures it had was the brake pipe on this side, offside rear. So it's this pipe here that goes from the caliper. You can't really see it, but it goes round here, comes over here, up there, round the axle and into this joint here. So look, as you can see there, it's just failed because it's really corroded. So what I've done is I've bought, I'll check the price in a moment, I'll just let you know what it is, but there was 2 brake pipes already built and already made to size, made to fit, so you can just replace that. And I've also bought one for this side as well. It wasn't a failure, but it made sense to do both of them, and it come in a bit of a kit as well. So I'll probably see how easy it is to change the other one first, but where have I put them? Lost them, over here. So here you go, look, here's one side. This is the offside rear, so as you can see, look, from the caliper and to that join that I just mentioned. So I'm hoping we're going to take the offside rear wheel off, and hopefully this will come out okay. Right, so it's a case of, as you can see, I've got the socket on it, so it's removing that there from the caliper, and the brake pipe just goes round here, across here, round, down under the axle, and I've already got my spanner on it. You'll probably see it better from here. and I've just cracked it, and it did undo a little bit, as you can see there. Look, so hopefully that will come undone. I'm going to put it on a time lapse, and hopefully everything will go well. Right, so that is the offside wheel done. Look, so as you can see, look, neon's in place, and it goes around the back, exactly the same routing as the old one, and into the join up there, look, and it went absolutely swimmingly, and it was very easy to do, and took no longer than sort of 15 minutes. So obviously you're going to lose brake fluid, you can't really help it. So got my little oil tray, caught a bit of brake fluid, and then I've got my little pressurized bleeder on the front there. Look, you can probably just see the top of it. So I plug that into the brake fluid reservoir. It's got brake fluid in the chamber, then I just pressurize the system, and then it just enables me to bleed the brakes on my own. So it creates pressure to here. So once I put the new hose on, I then do it all up, crack the bleed nipple on the caliper here, if you can see it, nipple there, crack that off, and then obviously the fluid will then push out, and once it's got all the air out the system, no more bubbles in, nip it up tight, and there you go. So although the brake pipe on this side isn't as bad, it is got some rust and bubbling in spots. So the fact that the other one was really easy to change, I am just going to change this one as well. So 9 times out of 10, this one's now going to be an absolute arse. Right, so that's the near side rear change now as well. Look, nicely in position, and yeah, it's a good fit actually, spot on, and all in position. So this is the near side rear one that didn't fail, but you can see it was still well worth changing. Look, it's rusty in places, started to bubble a little bit there, but the one that actually failed, being this one, probably due to this bit here. Look, really rusty there and really rusty there, and starting to bubble a bit over here. So that is the reason that one failed. And yeah, that actually went really well. Each side only took about 10-15 minutes max, and yeah, that went a lot better than I thought. So we're now going to move on to the front suspension wishbones. Right, so now we move on to the front wishbones, and the reason it failed MOT on these was this one mainly. As you can see there, look, the bush has just basically fallen, or the wishbone has fallen out the bottom of the bush, and it's just pushed itself out and is no good. So it's rubbing on the subframe. So we need to replace that bush. You can replace just that bush, but for the price of it and the ease of it, they're not that expensive. I just bought 2 new wishbones that has that bush there, the rear bush and the front bush, all in position, as you can see here, look, and obviously a nice shiny new, not rusted wishbone. And it come in a pair, so I've got the other one down there as well, so we may as well replace this, at least keeps it nice and sided. And as you can see there, that one's not faulty, that's not rubbing on the subframe. But we're going to replace both. I don't think, again, I'm going to give you prices for these at the moment, give you prices for those later on, but they weren't that expensive. And just tidies up the underneath a little bit, makes it a little bit better, and yeah, 3 new bushes on each one. Now, to replace this, we're going to have to remove that bolt there, which looks rusty, that bottom ball joint there, which could be an issue, and obviously this main bolt here. So this, and we have to remove that for the drop link as well. So I'm hoping, if it's anything like the brake pipes, it's going to go nice and swimmingly, but we'll see. And then obviously same again that side. So yeah, we'll stick it another time lapse, we'll crack on, and hopefully we'll get these swapped over very quick. Right, so that's the wishbone out. It went pretty much to plan, like all the bolts come out really nice, and they're still really clean. Look, the bolts aren't corroded at all, they came out lovely. The only downside, which I thought was gonna happen, was getting this nut off for the ball joint. I knew it was gonna be hard because you can't actually get it off properly because it hits the bottom of the drive shaft. And once you've hit the bottom of the drive shaft, you either have to take the drive shafts out or take the drive shaft out. That's pretty much the only thing you can do. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but you can't get a Allen key in the top. So if we go over to the new one, if you see here, look, there's an Allen key hole here, look in the top. So you're meant to use that as a counter hold to stop it from spinning, and then you can undo the nut. But obviously with the drive shaft in place, it makes it impossible to do that. So you should actually take the drive shaft out. But I didn't want to do that because I can't be bothered. So I ended up spending probably not quite the same amount of time, but I ended up using the grinder and just cutting it off in the end. So good job we are changing this, because look, hiding behind the back of the ball joint, 2 little tears in it, so they were probably quite well hidden from the MOT tester, so you might not have seen those. So yeah, that's one good reason why we're changing the whole lot. And here is our perished bush, look, and you can see it's just, yeah, completely useless and half fallen out. And also you can also see the front bush, which is quite heavily perished as well. So, and obviously the wishbone is pretty perished as well. So it is a very good thing. We're just going to change the whole lot, and then we've got the near side front to do as well. So now that's all done, all ready to put back together. So I'm going to bang on another time lapse, and we're going to finish this side off and do that side, and then that should be the underneath of the car all done. And there we go, just like that, both in, absolutely no problems with either side. And believe me when I say this, working on this car today has been, with like the bolts and rustiness and etc., has been easier than most 2-year-old cars that I've worked on. I don't know if it's just the Golf in general, but everything has come out absolutely perfectly. And yeah, it's actually just been a joy to work on this car today. Both wishbones out now. The other one that didn't fail, yeah, it's not too bad actually. Slight perishing there, so they don't have a million miles left on them. So it's always good to change as a pair, then you're keeping both sides the same. So to give you a price on the parts, those 2 front wishbones were £50 delivered for the pair. And the rear brake pipes were both 25 quid delivered for the pair, both brand new. So you can't really argue with that. There was not really worth going second hand. Although for the wiper motor, as I said, I have gone second hand and it's 20 quid. That will be delivered early next week. So I'm going to leave the video there today, guys. We've done all the underneath. The only thing that's left is the windscreen, the wiper motor, and yeah, seeing where these leaks are coming from. But we will do all of that and the MOT in the next video. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy these types of videos and you want to see more videos on old cars like this, please do let me know in the comments. Yeah, RS6 will be coming up as well as the Golf. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.